good. We are on live now. I think we'll be just waiting. Couple of seconds for the audience just to get engaged. Yes, audience are getting engaged. Actually, that's good. By the way, how is the weather in Denmark today?
Not very good.
Not
It has
very good
been
today.
raining all morning and all day.
Okay.
But they say
Same
tomorrow
here
and the weekend will
actually.
be sunny.
Okay, same here actually in Sweden. I'm working from Sweden, as you know, like so. It is also same actually here. I just came to office actually after while, before a while. So, but actually, it is raining outside. It is raining outside. All right, then audience has started joining us soon. So good morning. Good afternoon, good evening to everyone, whoever has joined us right now. So, dear students, today we'll be start talking about study in Denmark, and especially we do have two special guests from Aarhus University, and so whatever the questions you do have, please feel free to ask us. Our guest will answer your questions. So first of all, I would like to go to Gitte. Gitte, could you please introduce yourself?
Sure. My name
Thank
is Gitte.
you.
I work at Aarhus University. I work with student recruitment and student engagement. And we hope to get more international master degree students to Aarhus University.
That's good. Then Sivika, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. I'm Shavika. I am from Delhi, India, and I am studying here at Aarhus University. I'm doing my master's, and I just finished my first year, and I started my second year recently.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Good to know about you as well. So thanks. So I would like to request you both, like whoever you're gonna start the presentation. So please start the presentation so that our students can have a look. Actually, thank you. Shall I? Shall I add this? I think
Yes.
this one, right?
Yep.
Okay,
That's
that's
good.
good.
Thank you. So I want to talk about studying engineering at Aarhus University today. This is what I'll cover today. Some specific information about Denmark and Aarhus, the engineering programs, how to fund your studies here and the living costs, some admission requirements, and the application process and deadlines. And then Shivika will cover the student perspective of being a student here at Aarhus University. So, for people who don't know it, Denmark is a very small country in Northern Europe. We're just south of Sweden and Norway, and just north of Germany. So we have very easy access to the rest of Europe, and we know that a lot of our students also take advantage of this in during holiday season to go explore the rest of Europe because that's a possibility as an international student to come and see the rest of Europe while you're here. And if you look at the map of Denmark, you can see that Aarhus is right on the water. It's a 3-hour drive from Copenhagen, and it's a very easy access to everything in Denmark from here. And Denmark, as you can see here, Denmark is in which country is one of the questions we often get. So probably just start with the basics. As mentioned, Denmark is a very small country. We are almost 6 million people, and Copenhagen is the capital. We have almost 9,000 kilometers of coastline, so that's actually more than India. And in Denmark, you are never more than 52 kilometers from the ocean, so never more than an hour away from the ocean. It's safe to drink the water from the tap here. And a lot of people in Denmark go biking, even though also today you saw people biking in the rain. And it's only the Netherlands that bikes more than we do in Denmark. And just about being an international in Denmark, I'm sure Shivika will talk a little bit more about this since she is an international and I'm not. But this is what we hear from our internationals. Denmark is a great place to live because we are some of the happiest people in the world, at least according to this happiness report. We have a very healthy work-life balance and also healthy student life balance. We are one of the safest countries in the world, one of the world's lowest level of corruption, and a very low crime rate in general. And then as an international student, you will also benefit from being a part of the welfare society. So you will have free healthcare also as an international student. And then maybe you know that many Indians would prefer to go to an English-speaking country like the UK or the United States. But actually, Denmark is ranked as one of the best non-native English speakers in the world. So you can get an international experience without actually having to go to an English-speaking country if you come to Denmark. You will experience that almost all our master programs are taught in English. All our engineering programs are. We have a very high ratio of international researchers and students. And also, if you just go to the supermarket or take the bus, everyone will be able to help you in English. So it's not a problem if you don't know any Danish when you get here. Still, we encourage students to learn, and you can learn Danish for free when you're an international student at Aarhus University. And then a little bit about Aarhus University. It was founded in 1928, so it's almost 100 years old. We are around 40,000 students, and 10-12% are international. It's a little bit higher when you look at the engineering programs. A lot of different nationalities, and as mentioned, a lot of programs taught in English. And then it's a very comprehensive university. We cover all areas. So besides engineering, we also have business, computer science, arts, humanities, medicine, and so on. So that also means that even though you take engineering program, you could do electives in some of the other programs. So you could do a course in maybe machine learning or programming at computer science, or maybe in entrepreneurship at the business school. And this is something you can take advantage of from being a full comprehensive university. And then if you look at the picture here, all the yellow brick buildings are our campus, also other buildings, but as you can see, it's actually in the middle of the city. So you would have a city campus, and still you would also have a lot of green parks in the middle, so you would have time to just enjoy yourself in the park while being right in the middle of the city. Just a little bit of a current ranking here. We are between the top 100 and top 150 in the world, and as you can see here, and also even higher ranked in some of the sub rankings for different courses. Then there's Aarhus as a city. It's the second biggest city in Denmark, with Copenhagen being the biggest. We are around 350,000 people. As you can see here, it is one of the youngest cities in Denmark. It's actually the youngest city when you look at the age of the inhabitants, and that's because we have so many students. On the other side, it's one of the oldest cities in Denmark because it was founded more than 1,000 years ago by the Vikings. Yeah, and it was voted Denmark's best student city here. It says 21 and 22. Also actually in 23, so 3 years in a row. And it's actually voted by the students in Denmark, both Danish and international. And while we have a lot of students, we're not just a student city. We have all the opportunities and offers and events that you would also see in bigger cities, like Michelin-starred restaurants, concerts, cultural life, a lot of shopping opportunities, if that's something you're for, a lot of other things. And as you can see, it's also a very well-educated population you have here in Aarhus. Then engineering at Aarhus University, we have 5 engineering programs. All of them are 2 years in duration. We have computer engineering, biotechnology and chemical engineering, civil and architectural engineering, electrical engineering, and mechanical engineering. Then we also have one in technology-based business development, which is at our campus in Herning, which is an hour away from Aarhus. And then what you get out of studying at Aarhus University and studying in Denmark, first of all, you'll get an international experience with a diverse and international student body and with English as the main language. Then you would have all classes taught by active researchers, so you would really experience the newest knowledge within these fields that you study. You get an affordable education. We have full tuition fee waivers for top applicants, but you can also, our fees are very competitive, and you can also work while you study. As an international student, you're allowed to work for up to 20 hours per week while studying, and that's really normal in Denmark to work and study at the same time. Then, as mentioned, it's an urban campus university, so you would study in the middle of the city, but still have the feel of being in a park, sometimes even in the countryside. We offer career services and an attractive green card scheme in Denmark. It's just been allowed now for international students to stay in Denmark for up to 3 years after graduation to look for work. And during your time here, we would help you prepare for a career in Denmark. We have different events and services for international students to help them find their dream job in Denmark. And then the flexible curriculum is also something special for Aarhus. You can design your own program. Of course, there are some constraints, but we have different specializations based on your interest. So you can choose based on your interest and just have programs and courses that matches your interest and what you want to pursue afterwards. A little about living cost. Normally we say that as a student, you can get by with around 1,000 euros per month. And of course, you can do less, you can do more. It depends on, of course, your expenses, which is very different from person to person. A lot of people hear that Denmark is very expensive, and that's also true. But Aarhus is a lot more cheap than Copenhagen, especially when it comes to rent. And we have a lot of student houses available for our students here. And there's actually a lot of available student houses right now. We know that other countries in Europe have issues with this, but right now in Aarhus, I think I just read yesterday that there's 10,000 available apartments in Aarhus, and many of these are for students. So some even offer like a 1 month free rent, a gift certificate to a supermarket if you rent with them, and stuff like that. So they really want to find more students for these apartments. So it's really easy right now to find attractive accommodation for students. Then admission facts. Right now, you can apply if you want to start as soon as January next year. You would start at the end of January with semester starting around February 1st. Then you can apply now and apply up to until 15th of September if you're non-EU. You can also start in late August next year. Then you would apply in the big round between 1st November and 15th of January. For winter intake, it's only our engineering programs that you can apply for. In the big intake, it's all our full degree programs taught in English that you can apply for between 1st of November and 15th of January. The annual tuition fee is 15,300. We have an application fee of 100 euros, but you will be given those 100 euros back if you are accepted as a student and come here and study. And then the funding, as mentioned, we do have tuition fee waivers available. It's not something you apply for. It is, we look at all the applicants, and then we would offer them to the top applicants within the different programs. The tuition fee waivers will cover the full 2 years tuition fee, so they are highly attractive. And again, on the other side, if you don't get a tuition fee waiver, you can also work while you study to cover living expenses. And we hear from international students that it is pretty easy right now to find some sort of work. Maybe not in the beginning student relevant, but at least a paying job is easy even though you don't speak any Danish. Some examples. If you study computer engineering, this is one of the study lines that could be what you would study. So as you can see, all our programs are 2 years, and it's 4 semesters. With the first year, the first 2 semesters being your compulsory and specialized courses. So you would have these study lines, and then in the 3rd semester you can do electives. You could do electives within computer engineering, or as mentioned, you could also take electives from other programs. So if you study computer engineering, maybe you would take some from computer science or electrical engineering, and that's totally fine. And then the 4th semester is devoted to the thesis. For electrical engineering, um, these are the study lines: variable devices, photonics, digital electronics, analog electronics, RF electronics, energy system integration, time series signal processing, computer vision, robotics, and wireless networks. So then your courses would match which study line you would choose. So you would have, as you can see in the first semester, most of your programs within your study line, and then one mandatory courses for all engineering program students. And the same with the second semester, you would have a mix, and then electives in the third, and the master's thesis. Sometimes you can also do, if you're into research, you could do an R&D project in collaboration with a research group. It's just to contact a professor if you're interested in that. And sometimes that would be the first step to maybe starting a PhD afterwards. For mechanical engineering, we have 9 study lines, as you can see right here, and it's the same. You would have some specialized courses, some elective courses, and some mandatory courses in the first 3 semesters, and then you would have the thesis in the last semester. And the thesis can be written alone or together with a student body, so one more from your program. At civil and architectural engineering, we have 5 study lines. We have infrastructures in geotechnical engineering, structural engineering, innovative structural design, smart buildings, so indoor environments and building physics, and construction management and engineering. And this is just an example. If you study structural engineering, this is what your program would look like. So you would have the mandatory courses for civil and architectural engineering, and then you would have the study line courses for structural engineering. This is the blue boxes. And then you could choose, again, up to 5 electives that would match, again, your interest or what you want to do with your career afterwards. And also, as you can see, the opportunity to do a research and development project. And for structural engineering, these are the elective courses that you can choose. But again, mentioned, you can also apply to take electives outside of your study program. You just have to get it approved by your program director. Then we have biotechnology and chemical engineering, which is you would either study biotechnology or you would study chemical engineering. And it's kind of the same for all the programs. As you can see, you would have some mandatory courses and some specialized courses. You can also study abroad in the 3rd semester. Aarhus University have more than 800 agreements with partner universities worldwide. So you would have the opportunity to go to one of our partner institutions in the 3rd semester if you are interested in that. I think this is just the general admission requirements. So you would need a relevant and recognized bachelor degree, so a 4-year degree for India. And then there's the specific admission requirements, which is different from each program. And then you would need an English language test. So we accept TOEFL and IELTS and also Cambridge. For TOEFL, it's 83 and IELTS, it's 6.5. And the test can't be more than 2 years old. And then generally, I can say that it's really easy to apply to Aarhus University. We only look at your formal education. So don't look into CV or PRE or anything like that, or motivational letter or letters of recommendation. We don't need any of that. So it's really easy to apply. And then I just want to show one of the admission requirements before I think I'll jump to Shivika. This is if you would study computer engineering, then of course you would need a bachelor degree within computer engineering. And this means that you would need a certain number of credits within computer technology, some within computer networks and regulations technology, from points within physics, and also within classical mathematics, so calculus, algebra, and so on. And same for all these. I think you should, if you're interested in one of the programs, just check our website and you can find all these admission requirements.
Gite,
Yep.
can I ask you a question, like when you are on that page? So regarding this, as you are showing, okay, so students needs to have particular ECTS and so on. So I do have a question here. Sometimes of course the degree should be 4 years and so on. I do understand everything, but for as they should have different courses in different, you know, these courses and these courses, all of the
Yeah.
things you have shown, like 5 ECTS or 25 ECTS and so on. So but my question is that sometimes it could happen, some of the things they have done little bit extra and some of the things they did little bit low. In that case, how strict are the university?
Well, that's why
Have
we
you got
also
my
ask
question?
for course descriptions,
Okay.
because sometimes some things can be covered in one course, and then in that course maybe there can also be some of the parts covered in one of the other courses that we require. So, for instance, if you study, let's see here, for computer here, this one, computer engineering. So maybe you would have a course in computer technology, which would have some programming and modeling, but maybe it would also cover some computer networks in that course. So that's why the course description is also important, because then we can see if it's a little bit less for computer technology, maybe the things that you miss would have been covered in one of the other courses you've taken.
I understand. I understand. So that's why you need course description.
Yeah.
And when is they're sending it, do they need to sign it from their university, or they have to just download the things from their university and they can send it to you? Like how do you want? I mean, usually university wants. That's my question.
Shivika, can you remember how you did it?
Yeah, I just found it on. It has to be in English for sure. So
No,
if
of
it's
course, of
not in
course, of
English,
course.
yeah, if it's not in English, then you have to get it translated from the university.
I
But if
understand.
it's available in English, you just download it and put it. It's no problem at all.
Okay,
Yeah.
I understand. I understand. No problem. That's good. That's good. That's good. And regarding the documentation part, I have also one thing, because it's this is what we do face from the students sometimes. Actually, this is all. Sorry to interrupt here, in between, but I mean, as is similar questions. Uh, the thing is, sometimes the student asks us a very common question, for an example, okay, I'm going to sit for the IELTS, but maybe I do have all of the things ready, but I'm getting my IELTS little bit later. Hope Shibika will understand that, right? So in that case, how, I mean, is there any chance for the students to add that IELTS later on,
Yeah.
or it's like a very strict deadline means deadlines? How?
It's you can send us your IELTS test later on our website. You can find all the deadlines, and for IELTS, you can send. We just need, when you apply, just let us know that you have signed up for the language test, and then there's a different deadlines for when to upload the English language test.
Uh,
So it's not a problem that you don't have the test result when you apply.
okay. So it is possible. It is
Yeah,
Sure.
you
possible.
need
Yeah.
the booking receipt though. When you
Yeah.
book IELTS, they will give a confirmation with the date. That is necessary, even if the date is after the deadline for applying.
Okay. But at least we have to provide
Yes.
that documents,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
registered for it. In that
Yes.
case, it is
Yes.
possible. No,
Yes. That I
it
will
makes
give
sense.
it on this day and before I will get the results. So just that is very important.
All right. It makes sense. It makes sense. And it should be done through the email or through the documentation part, like a uploading part.
When you
Everything.
have applied, you just
Yeah.
upload it later on.
Okay. But till how long? For an example, if we talk about this January intake, 15th September is the deadline, right? So here, till how long students will get that? If it is possible, till maximum
I
how long?
think it is 1st December. I'm not sure, and I would say go to the website to check the exact date because the timelines are there. But I think it's somewhere
Okay.
end of November, December, something like that.
Okay, that's good. I mean, it
Yeah,
will.
it's
I mean,
1st of December for the language test.
okay. I
Yeah.
will actually request you, please later, if it is possible, just provide me that link particularly later on.
Yep.
I mean, if it is possible, so that I mean, it will be really helpful for us.
Sure.
Just to
I can share it
like,
right now in the chat if you
yeah,
want.
yeah, sure, you can do that, no problem. So that will be really helpful, because it is all I mean, very common question from the students we hear sometimes. And
Yeah.
also, if for any reason also same thing happens with some other things, like for an example, like a transcript or certificate, also same thing happens, Shivika, maybe you can understand that as well. Like some of the students there, they finish their studies but they haven't got these things in their hand.
You can,
Sometimes it might happen.
you usually get a provisional, then you have to
Yeah, I
provide the
know.
provisional, and then there is again a deadline for when you have to give your final degree. But there
Okay.
is time for that also.
But does like a Arus required like a origin certificate, or like for an example, we are working for other countries as well, as even I'm sitting in Sweden right now. So even Swedish universities, they do accept provisional, and it is totally fine. Even they don't bother like till the end, even if you do not have your origin one, because in some countries what happens, to get the origin one, they do arrange the convocation,
Yeah.
a convocation, and after the convocation they provide the origin certificate. So sometimes even it takes 6 to 1 year to get the original certificate, and before that, I mean, students is having like a just provisional certificate. So even in Sweden, like it is absolutely okay for the universities. So
Well, we can offer you admission before you finished your studies and before you have your final diploma. But we would need your final diploma if you for winter before 1st of December. Um, and for summer intake, it hasn't been a problem for Indian students before, at least.
I understand. But my question is, I mean, Gita, again, sorry to interrupt. Is it like you need final one, not provisional? You need finally final one before 1st December. Do you mean that?
I believe so. I haven't heard about that issue before.
Okay, no, okay. No, because I mean, as I said, like even Swedish universities, they're absolutely fine with like even provisional certificate. Hope you understand. I mean, they
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
mind for this kind of thing. I hope it will be fine as well with you anyway.
I
So
would recommend that if any student is facing such a severe problem with getting it, they should write to the admissions office, and the
and they
admissions
will.
office will then just guide them exactly what is required, when, if there is anything to be done about it. They're very prompt in responding all the time. I've had many of my problems solved from them.
All
So
right. No.
each
Thanks
student
for
can just
that.
write to them.
Thanks for that. But I mean, in general, I'm just asking so that we know. I mean, we can guide them in general. You know what I mean? Because and as an agent, like sometimes the student asks us many questions even before they apply and so on. So we can let them know. Okay, this is the particular things for you. So that's really good thing. So that means so far I understood, university is little bit flexible regarding the documentation part. So some cases student still will have little bit more time for the
Yeah,
documentation.
yeah. For the documentation, you have until for the winter intake, because that's a shorter period. You have until December 1st, and for the regular intake in where you start in fall, you would have to apply as mentioned before 15th of January, and
January,
then you
yes.
would have until 1st of May until uploading your language test result.
Language test or other like
Yeah,
discussed, we have discussed. Okay, so
and
that's
first of
really good
July
thing.
for uploading that you have completed your bachelor degree.
Okay, that's really good thing for the international students, I'll say.
Yeah,
Thanks for that. I think it will help for most of our students actually.
sure.
This
Yeah.
discussion,
But
because I hear
otherwise,
these
other
things from
admission
students. Please,
questions, if they have that, as Shivika says, just contact the admissions office. The email is right here,
definitely,
and they are
definitely.
really helpful for international students.
No, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. um
And then we also have a chat with our students where you can talk to current students, also like Shivika, if you want to talk to someone in the same program as the one you're interested in, or maybe from the same country. You can find, I think we have more than 100 students in this page where you can talk to current students at Aarhus University here. And some of them are also alumni, so you can also talk about how they found their job in Aarhus or Denmark afterwards.
okay, all right, please
Then
go ahead.
visa. As mentioned, it's issued by the Danish Agency for International Recruitment and Integration, so it's not the university, of course. And as you can see, it's prescribed for the standard time that your master program takes, and then the next 3 years. So when you apply, I would make sure that my passport is valid at least for the next 5 years, because then you don't have to reapply for staying in Denmark after graduation. And as mentioned, the residence permit will also allow you to work for up to 20 hours per week and then full time during the summer. And just underline that it don't exceed the 20 hours per week. We have seen a case a few years ago where a student was thrown out of the country because he worked too much besides his studies. So really stay within the 20 hours per week. But also that should be enough because you also need to commit to your studies, of course.
Understand.
Then with the student residence permit, if you have paid your tuition fee in Denmark, that's sufficient documentation that you can support yourself. But if you have been granted a tuition fee waiver, you have to document that you have either been granted a scholarship to cover your living expenses, or that you have disposable funds corresponding to 860 euros per month, which is approximately 10,000 euros, to show that you have enough money to take care of your living costs while you're in Denmark. And then, as mentioned, we have this new rule that you can stay in Denmark for up to 3 years to look for work. And this is, you automatically have been granted this when you apply and you get your residence permit. So that is really great. And that's something that we hope will get more students to actually want to stay in Denmark after graduation. And now over to you, Shivika.
Yes, thank you. I will just present. I think you may have to stop presenting.
Yep, I can just take it away. And we do have few questions. Shall we take it or we'll take it later on?
It's up to you.
I think we
Maybe-
can. Yes, Shivika?
Maybe we can do the presentations and then do the questions.
Okay, sure.
Is it possible for you to project my
Yeah,
slides?
sure.
The other deck, the other slides.
This one?
No, the ones that you had put earlier also. It's called student perspective.
Yeah, this one.
No,
This one?
that's
No.
mine.
Other one is not here.
Yeah, you tried before.
Yeah. I can remove and try to put it again.
Yes, please. I think I think that will be good. Please.
Just a second. It's
No problem.
processing.
Okay.
It's there. I can see it, but it's not
Yes,
coming.
yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you. Yeah, so as I said, I am from India. I'm doing my master's, but in arts, not in engineering, in intercultural studies. I have been in Denmark for 1 year now, and I just finished my second semester and have started my third one now. And just a little bit more about just an extension of what Gere was saying earlier. Living in Aarhus it's really vibrant and nice and lovely because we have almost 50,000 students in the city. That's a really big chunk of the population, and there are many, many, many international students here from all over the world, from so many places in Europe, the Americas, Asia. So you have a lot of cultural exchange that you can be a part of. There's a lot of activities always happening here, so there's something to do, somewhere to socialize, meet new people, and just have really, really interesting experiences. And Danes in general are very good at speaking English. And thus there is not a lot of language barrier that can be faced in a lot of other European countries or non-English speaking countries. I think Danes are like the second best, third best English non-Anglophones. So everywhere you go, you will be able to speak in English and get by, at a cafe or at a restaurant without much problems. It is very, very well connected by public transport as well. And there's always buses and trams across the city, so you can get from one part to this other very easily. But everybody here bikes a lot, as Giti said, and everybody basically owns at least one bike. Some people have two or three bikes also sometimes. And everywhere there's like dedicated roads to bike on, so you can bike very safely. There's a lot of student friendly cafes and museums and things, places that you can go and hang out with your friends or just spend time studying. It's very close to not one but many beaches, and there's a lot of opportunity to go swim in the ocean or go to a ocean bath, and which are open all through the year. And it's also very well connected to different parts of Europe, as Giri had shown earlier, that you can take a flight to go and visit in a lot of places in Europe. And since you get a residence permit for Denmark, you can actually travel everywhere in Schengen countries in the EU very easily without needing another visa to go there. So there's a lot of opportunity to travel within Europe. And just about studying at Aarhus University, the what I really like about it a lot is that the campus is really big and it's spread all over the city. So you can access the city very quickly. You can go from one part to the other very easily. There's a lot of area to study. There's a lot of cafes, and there's just a lot of like opportunities to sit and do group study, or just meet for lunch within the campus itself. It's very close to the city center. It's basically right next to it, so you can access the city center very easily just by foot or by taking a short bus or tram ride. There's a lot of great facilities and labs, and especially for engineering students, there's a lot of great research facilities available. Um, there are a lot of student activities that happen, and there are always university events happening or by other students, and a lot of opportunity to explore different activities, and thus it just is a very international experience overall. And within the class it's very different from how it is in like Asian schools. It's not very formal. You speak to your professors by their first name. They're very approachable, and it's a very like environment that wants you to discuss and talk and not just come and take notes. So it's really really nice, the environment in the class itself. And reasons why I chose AU: it is very highly ranked. It's a really old legacy university. It's 100 years old almost, and so it's ranked really well globally in so many different rankings. And especially even when you look at your own faculties, there's great options for what courses you can do and how you can customize it and do you what you would like to do in the future. There's less barrier with English, especially in the university also, but overall in Denmark. And when you come here as a student, you get free healthcare. So you just need to get insurance for the first few weeks that you're here, and as soon as you get your residence card, you will be also covered by the Danish healthcare system. So you can access the general physician very very easily. At the same time, there are free Danish lessons for students. For the first 5 years that you live here, you can learn Danish for free, and there's just a small deposit that you give, and every time you pass your course, you can get it back. So I have also been learning Danish. I'm starting my third module now, and it really, really is nice as something to just try. And Denmark is very well connected to India by flights, so it's an overnight flight, and you're going to be in India or to Bangladesh or South Asia. There's so many options, and they're quite affordable as compared to like going to the US or Canada, where the flights are very very expensive. It is much more affordable to be able to travel here. And Aarhus, like Giri said, it's very big because it's the second biggest city, but it's a small city. And so you can feel it. It's very cozy, it's very well connected. It doesn't take you a long time to get from one part to the other. So it's really, really nice to have that big city feeling and all the facilities without having to live in the biggest city. And again, another thing that Giri had mentioned earlier is the visa. And now that we come here with a 3-year visa, at least you know that after your studies for 3 years, you don't have to think about changing your visa again. So it makes life a lot easier. It's one small permit, and then you can work as many hours as you want for 3 years at least. So it's just made options to stay here much, much more attractive. And living in Aarhus, I live in the west side of Aarhus. It's 20 minutes ish to the city center by biking, but 20-30 minutes by bus if I want to take the bus. So it depends a little bit on which part I'm going to. There's a lot of nature, and like this picture is from the lake that is like a 2 or 3 minute walk from my house. There's also a forest that is literally a 1 minute walk from my house. So there's a lot of nature to explore in. There's supermarkets, etc., are very very easily available. There are Asian markets also, so I can easily buy anything that I want, that I'm missing from India or from back home. And I bought a bike here, like the first few weeks I was here, but I sometimes take the bus also because I'm still getting used to raining and biking in the rain here. And a typical day for any student here would be like, I would have like 3 lectures around every week. So a little bit depending on how many courses you're doing, but about 3 lectures maybe. Each would last around 3 to 4 hours. The timings are different for each lecture, so you will sort of build a schedule in the first few weeks that you come and start doing. I have a student job as well, and I work 20 hours a week, and I kind of just arrange my job according to the days that I have classes and what time I have classes in. And there's a lot of study groups, so you get to study a lot with your peers and work with them on different projects, and sort of have like a very experience with working with others outside of the workspace as well. So it's really nice to also prepare for the future and how to collaborate with different people. And it's nice to study with your peers because they know what you're going through, and everybody has similar problems, so you can actually help each other. And there's a lot of reading that you and preparing that you have to do for class. That is really really different from how it was in my home university, but it's a really nice thing because then you go to class prepared and you sort of know what to expect and can then build on that knowledge. So it's a really nice way of studying, I think. And when you think about other activities, there are so many things you can do. I work part time, as I said, 20 hours a week, and I also work with Sarah and Gide at the International Center. I also am an ambassador for the university, so you can write to us on the website. You can find all of us. The picture here of us in blue t-shirts is very recently from our intro day, where we welcomed all the international students, and it was just a nice experience to meet so many new students who were very excited to be here. And the picture beneath that is an event that I organized some time ago, and I played a Bollywood movie for a lot of people. There were like 50, 60 people, and we all watched a Bollywood movie together. It was really really fun. There's a lot of sports and activities that you can try here. I have tried a few sports. I tried pole dancing, and there's a lot of like yoga or basketball and badminton and softball and just all of the activities. So you can go try a club and join it, and it's also a very nice way to meet other people. And there's also Friday bars. That is a very unique thing to the university. It is not mostly about drinking, but it is about like a place you can go to on Fridays after your class with your friends and your peers and just hang out, play games, and just really, really enjoy it. It's a very, very fun experience. So, yeah, that is my experience here. And I think now maybe we can take questions.
That's good. Thanks, Shivika, for you sharing your experiences. Actually, and it's really nice to hear from your end. Here we got few questions actually from the students. The first question we got here, like, can the spouse play along with the student? Shivika.
I think there is like a like family visa
Yes.
that you can apply for, but I don't have all the details about it
All
because I
right.
didn't apply
All
for
right.
it.
Even I know in that case, I mean, yes, of course, like in Denmark, they do allow, I mean, spouse as well, like when students are coming along. So it is possible. Yes, I do have another questions here. Like maybe Gitte, you can answer this. I have completed MSc in Tripoli from the UK. What about the opportunity to study the second masters in Denmark? What are the facilities of studying Denmark to do a second masters? How do I apply from the UK? Thank you.
Well, it is possible to do a second master's, but I know it depends on the different programs because you would be last in line because you already have one master. We accept students who have who have masters already, but they would be last in priority. But it's not impossible. I would, for this, when it's so specific, I would ask the admissions office for what to just check their chances before they apply, so they know if they should apply or not. And if you apply from the UK, it's not depending on where you apply from, it's your nationality that you should be aware of. So if you're from India, just make sure that you apply before the deadline for non-EU students. I know it's now for the same for the UK, but just be aware of the deadlines for your
Exactly,
nationality.
exactly. Uh, with this question, actually, we do have similar question from the students sometimes. For an example, like let's say students, these students, of course, just said like has done have done the masters already, but sometimes what happens also, students have done their bachelor from UK. So in few of the like European universities, when students studies from like for an example USA, UK, Australia, and so on, in that cases they do not need IELTS or PT or TOEFL, whatever it is, for their master's degree. How about in this case, like do they need IELTS still in the English test in Aarhus?
If their bachelor degree is from one of these countries, I believe it's UK, USA,
Australia,
Canada,
Yeah, Australia, Canada. I mean,
Australia,
English
then
speaking
they don't
countries
need
mostly.
then
Yeah.
they don't need IELTS. For India,
Okay,
if you come with a bachelor for India, you still need an English language test.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
I know about that, but I mean, so that means like from English speaking country, what we said. So from them, then they do not need IELTS.
Yeah.
And how about like also we get sometimes students like maybe not they're not from English speaking country, but they have done their bachelor. For an example, they have done their bachelor from your neighboring countries like Sweden or Finland or like other European countries. Uh, do you have any exception for them as well?
Well, if you've done it from, let's say, you've done your bachelor in Sweden, then you would still need an English language test, even
Okay.
though you've done your full bachelor in English.
Yes.
Because your test would be more than 2 years old, and I would guess it would just be a matter of formality. Because I'm guessing your English would be even better
Of
than
course.
when you applied first time. But since it's not an English-speaking country, we require that.
Okay, okay. Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah,
Because the reason I'm asking, because we hear similar questions from the students sometimes, so I just wanted to be. I
yeah,
mean,
absolutely. I could understand that question, but and that
no,
is
I
the
understand.
requirements.
No, no, that's good. That's good. So now we know like what to answer them. So
Yeah,
here,
because sometimes the requirements are a lot lower, maybe in one Swedish university than in others, and then maybe it wouldn't match what we require.
no, exactly, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. But in terms of, let's say, for an example, like in terms of Sweden, actually, they're a little bit flexible. In Sweden, what happens, like even if it is like from any EU universities, they do their bachelor, then they do not require it.
right.
That's okay. As you studied already in European countries, still we will recognize it. You don't
Yeah.
need it. You know what I mean? So yes, thanks for these questions. I mean answers actually. How much is tuition fees and how much need for a sponsor and so on? Anyway, how much is the tuition fees? I think we have answered these questions already,
Yeah,
right?
but I can repeat it. 15,300 euros per year, and it's a 2-year program.
Yes, and definitely I think the student can pay it like semester basis.
Yeah.
Semester basis. So basically, they pay half. I mean, when they start the
Yeah,
studying.
and you need to pay the first rate before you start your studies.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And again, there is a question about like IELTS requirement for MBA. So I think we have already covered it actually. Like a
Yeah, I heard you say MBA. We don't offer any
MBA,
MBAs.
no MBA, but I mean maybe in general
For
IELTS,
Yeah,
masters. I
for
mean,
general IELTS is 6.5, and I think what is different from general for Aarhus University and the Swedish universities is that we have just 6.5 in general. We don't have any lower scores for any of them. I know they have
okay,
minimum
that
requirements
is good.
for some
Yes,
of the
yes,
subtests in Sweden, but we don't have that.
yes. Okay,
So it's
okay.
actually easier
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
um,
Exactly,
to get into
exactly.
Aarhus University.
Yeah, you are in that way. You are a little bit more flexible than even Swedish
Yeah,
universities. No, that's good. That's good. But you do accept like a TOEFL and IELTS, not anything else.
yeah,
So far, I know.
yeah, and Cambridge.
And Cambridge. That's it.
Yeah.
Um, and also, someone is asking for like a full tuition fees waivers. Like, of course, we discussed about it. But if you just repeat one more time very shortly for them, like how can they get it?
Yeah, as mentioned, we have the full tuition fee waivers, which will cover the full 2 years. And it's not something you apply for. It's we look at all the applicants, and then they are offered to the best applicants. And we look at especially at their grades in the relevant subjects.
So, and the good thing is, dear students, the good thing is that, like, as Gita said it earlier, like, you don't have to give many documents for that, like a SOP, motivation letter, or anything. They will just look for your, academic results, and based on that, they will decide. And you don't have to apply separately, Gita. Am I right? So, students do not need to apply separately, Gita. Am I right?
Yeah,
That's good. So once has already
no,
asked like how to get waiver, so we
that's
just answered
correct.
that. Yes, yes. Okay, so here, Mr. Tushar, he has asked like I have a background in
My connection was a little bit bad right there, but could you repeat that?
yes. So Tushar Chaudhary, he has just asked, I have background in biotechnology but working in public health area. Can I go to masters in international food quality and health program? I have 7 years of working experience and almost 9 years of
I'm not sure about that one. Maybe that's a program we offer in something we look at in general. We only look at your formal education when we assess for master programs. So no, and we don't look at the working experience, unfortunately.
exactly, exactly. So in that case, I think like a what we can say the students like please send the documents to us so that we can see the documents transcript and course description so that we can understand precisely for which program it will be easy for you, which
Yeah.
programs you can apply. Because by just knowing like someone has studied from these faculties is very difficult to say still, because as the admission depends on particularly which courses have you done in your
Yeah.
entire programs, so we
But
must have to
again,
look at the
as mentioned, it's really easy to apply, and maybe
yes,
also it's important to say that you can apply for up to 3 programs.
yes, exactly,
So a student in the same application, they can apply for up to 3 programs. So if you are unsure if you can only join the computer engineering, maybe just also apply for electrical engineering and computer science in the same. Well, computer science is only for summer intake, but then you can apply for other programs as well.
exactly, exactly. That will be the benefit for the students. That's
And
good.
then you can also remember that you can do electives from the program that you maybe might be most interested in, but you couldn't join.
Exactly. And also, here is a question. I have studied in the UK and met English requirements. Do do I need to submit any English requirement certificate like IELTS again for studying in Denmark? The,
Not if you have
the,
studied in the UK. No.
the questions I have just asked you.
Yeah.
All right, then that's good. Thank you. So, Miss Sadi Akhtar, she has said like, "Hello, I have completed my bachelor degree in child development and social relationship. Is there any related subject in your university in which I can pursue my master's degree, for instance, public health, global health, and so on?"
Um, we don't have any, in general, we don't have any programs within health and medicine taught in English. So that would be my main answer. So we have within anthropology, maybe that would be relevant, visual anthropology and sustainable heritage management. But if that matches her interest and what's in her bachelor, that would be very hard for me to say. I think my best suggestion would be go to our master's website and see the programs offered in English.
Yes, and also we can look at her documents and then we can suggest her actually, particularly
Yeah.
later on. Mr. Tusha Chaudhary, he has asked again, can I go for a business related master's program in January session as I have management experiences? So this particular student has asked like okay, biotechnology, so he is from biotechnology and he has management study, management related things. So even like a git, I believe like he cannot go for right? Because
No, well, my suggestion would go look into the technology-based business development engineering program. That's an engineering program, but with a business side, where there's
yes,
also projects that you do in collaboration with companies. So it is an engineering program, but more into the business side, and that's also have an intake in winter. Our
so,
business programs, you need a bachelor within business to apply, and they have very specific requirements.
so it could be or couldn't be, like it's in middle actually. Like we must have to look at the documents,
You should
like
look
a
into
transcript.
the technology-based business development because then
Yes,
you would need both some requirements within engineering and some in business.
yes. So all right then. So Mr. Tushar, like if you just send us the academic documents, and then maybe we can assist you later on in these regards. Um, I'm a recent graduate from here. I do have another questions here. I'm a recent graduate from the BBA department major in HRM. I want to go do a master's in HRM in UK. I've research experiences and Rashif in my university. I mean, I think it's a scholarship, maybe like a one journal published paper and 3 year in processing, and one, is it possible to get a full fund for masters too, which subject has high demand for masters from business studies?
It sounds like he wants to do his master in the UK.
Sorry.
It said that he wanted to do a master's in the UK.
No. I think he
I
wants
want to
to
do
do
a
it in.
master's in human resource management in the UK.
Okay. I think I'm not sure. Like, what does he mean? Like, we are talking about Denmark, and it's really
Yeah.
confusing. I mean, he wants to do it like in UK or Denmark anyway. So yeah, if you want to do it in UK, then definitely we cannot assist you. But if you really want to do it in Denmark, as today we are talking about Denmark, so please feel free to send us your documents, and then we can, see how can we assist you. Thank you. Um, there is a question called like do I need to face the embassy?
I'm not sure what they mean face the embassy, but you need, of course, to have a visa to go to Denmark.
Yes,
I think, Shivika,
yes.
you can probably easily tell about what how the process was.
Yeah, I think for me it was quite straightforward. I Once you fill in the fee, the university starts the form, and they also tell you then you have to fill in some forms on the immigration website and with the university's form, and then submit it. There's a list of all the documents, and all of that is comprehensively on the New to Denmark website, which is the immigration website here. And after that, they analyze it case by case. For some people, they may do a telephonic, they may do a face-to-face interview, they might not do an interview at all. So there's no way to say you will have to or not have to. I think that's just like you have to put
Yes.
in the papers and see how it goes.
Exactly. But anyway, like you must have to submit your documents through the
Yeah,
PFS or embassy. I mean, sometimes
yeah,
also it varies from country to country. So
yeah,
definitely, I mean, as the international students, like if unless and until you are EU citizen and you don't have to enter. I mean, you can enter Denmark without any things, any residence permit. Then that is fine. Otherwise, of course, you have
yeah,
to
yeah.
face
You
it
have to get a
in
visa.
some extent. Yes. And here, last, okay, there is two more questions. So, what about a sponsorship? They are asking again, like, what about a sponsorship?
Yeah, well, we only have the general tuition fee waivers that we can offer that will cover the tuition fee. We don't have any sponsorships right now. Then you would have to look into different opportunities in your home country.
Yes, thanks for the answer. Actually, and again, there is a question though we have answered this one, like how to apply for a scholarship or how to get tuition fees waiver.
Yeah, you just apply for your studies and then we would assess.
So, dear students, the fact is that for Denmark, you don't have to apply. I mean, separately for your scholarships.
Yeah,
You just
exactly.
apply to the universities for your programs, for the programs you really want to study, and university will take it from there, and they will, of course, they will select the best students, and then,
Yeah,
automatically
We
they
look
will
at
be
your
selected.
academic
Exactly,
achievements
exactly.
within your bachelor program. So we look at where did you take your bachelor, what grades did you achieve in the relevant courses, and so on. So you
And
don't have to write any motivational letter or send any financial documentation or anything like that to be assessed for tuition fee waivers.
and how like a IELTS test? I mean, does it affect as well? Like if someone have really good
No.
results, only academic, only
Yeah,
academic.
academic, because if you are interested in mechanical engineering, we would look at how well are you in mechanical engineering.
I understand. I totally understand that. That's good. No. So no, because also the reason of asking that question is like sometimes we have some students, like for an example, they do have little bit lower CGPA and then they have really good in English, and also they do expect the things. So now is answer for them. So it's mainly depending on their previous studies. That's it. So that was all of the questions actually for today, and I think we are end of the sessions almost. I'm just taking it out from the here. So dear students, thanks for asking all of the questions, and we are almost end of the session today. So before we end up, like I would like to ask like a Gita and Shibika like to make your final comments, please, for the students.
Well, if I should start, I could say that why should you come to Aarhus University? I think you should come here because we hear from our students that they really like it here. Many of them have not heard about Aarhus University before almost applying, but they were all positively surprised both of the level here and the student city. So I think it would be a great experience for you as well.
Thank you, Shibika.
I would say that as a student, I think, I mean, it's a great experience anyway living in Europe, but living in Scandinavia is really nice. The happiest, one of the happiest countries in the world. But it has great facilities and great options, and it can be a really great experience in the longer run. So it should be a top choice, definitely.
Definitely, definitely. I believe so. Denmark is our neighboring country, so
Yeah.
so I do understand that actually, and that's good then. So, dear students, thanks for joining the sessions. I would like to say, everyone, thanks for joining the sessions and asking your questions. And if you have any more questions, on the screen, actually, you do have our, Facebook page link. You do have our WhatsApp and also email address. Feel free to contact with us, and then our team will assist you. If you would like to study in Denmark and especially in Aarhus University. And finally, I would like to say thanks to Gita and Shibika for joining us here today. And
Thank you for
hopefully,
having us.
thank you
Thank you
so
for
much. And
having me.
hopefully, I will see you in your campus actually in farm
Yes,
trip soon, very soon, very soon.
sounds
So
good.
thank you so much. Thank you so much one more time. Thank you.
Thank you very
Have a
much for
good day.
having us.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye. Have a good day. Bye bye.